Helpline.
Right. Hey, listen, guys, we're live. We're with you, Grown Arse Men in the building. Yeah, make some noise, man. Right. Before we go any further, let's do the right thing. Let's introduce who we got inside. Starting from my left, going to his left.
Huh?
Man like the Pan African.
Yes, the Pan African Dwayne, you know it is. Yeah, it's Gavin.
What?
No, I'm joking.
I knew that when his real passport, you know. I knew that.
I'm not Nigerian. I'm joking.
Listen, let's not take it to the topic that route. Next man inside.
Yes, the 101 G Banks in the building. What up?
Yo, Rakes.
What was that finger, boy? Next one inside.
Nick Clark.
Yes, and your host with the most is Craig. It's me, man like John Cena, because you know how it goes. You can't see me. Right. Today's show, we are going to be discussing something that is a massive topic out there at the moment. It's something that's been happening for years, and we're going to address the issue. We're talking about child abuse in football, and especially in professional football. All right, so the question that I'm going to kind of pose to everyone at the table and also to the public watching is, with all of the rumours, the allegations that have been told, does it change your opinion in terms of allowing your child to play football or join a team? Who wants to kick this one off?
Sorry, you know what? Like, I'll be honest with you. I don't really watch football. So, and when they told me this was the topic, I was like, it's football related. I don't know nothing about it. But then they told me it's child abuse, and I was like, oh shit, I should have done some research. I didn't. So, someone just please refresh me. What was it? Did someone have been like kids touching up?
Right, cool. Listen, you know what? It's a good question for the crowd.
You can't just throw it out there like everyone's known. Everyone don't know. Like, that's footballers being touched up by like.
Well, in short, yes. All right, so there have been many footballers, particularly footballers from the past, professional footballers, an England international as well, who's come out and said that a coach has inappropriately touched him. We've had another famous footballer, Matt Letizia, who's come out and said he was given a naked massage. Yeah.
What?
There is also another coach who's actually contributed and had showers with minors. Yeah. And he actually states that he's done nothing wrong. So that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with 106 allegations against 30 clubs, and that's in London alone.
But the thing is that how many of them are true though? Like the thing is that I don't get it twisted. I know that this stuff happens. This stuff happens with like even in churches and things like that. You always have these older men perving over these young boys. But then the problem is, after half of them, they could just be making it up because they could be going along with the band right just to try and get some kind of compensation.
Why is a professional footballer or ex-professional footballer going to come out and just make up that story? Like no man wants to come out and say I was abused by another man when I was
Chelsea paid one of the people off, mate. They actually paid.
They paid someone off. Wow, that kind of says guilt, but then they did it for MJ, so it might not.
Well,
sorry, I'm playing. I love it.
So obviously, not to try. This one is not one we can obviously make light-hearted. It's a very, very serious matter.
Oh, cool.
And you know, there are 98 clubs from what I've read. 98 clubs that have been accused, and that is basically what we are dealing with at the moment.
But this is all. This
and,
thing is
83 potential suspects apparently. Not even suspects, but potential victims.
But for me, that math don't even make sense, because how can there be 83 suspects and 93 and
that's what immediately when I saw that I was thinking, it doesn't add up.
But then if it's happening to you at every club you go to, then you may need to look at yourself. But that sounds
no, I kind of hit. No, go on.
If you're going from club to club and you keep on being targeted for sexual abuse, then
you're the problem.
You have to look at yourself. I'm not saying you're the problem, but
you are a child.
I kind of get
teenagers. Like, that doesn't make it. So I'm a 12-year-old being touched by a guy. I moved to another guy touched me, and I'm the problem. I'm saying if it continuously happens, you can't put it that in.
All right, you know what, guys? I think we was bad last week in terms of not letting people finish and make their full point. So Nick, I'm going to put it back to you.
Thank you. All right. For example, if your child moved from school to school to school, and they keep on getting kicked out, at some point you've got to look at the child, and that's how it is in in this situation, to me, I'm not saying that the child is responsible, but for me, if it's happened to a player on more than 2 occasions, then you have to look at yourself, and the parents need to get involved, because it's not the same, innit? Getting kicked out of school is behavioural issues. I understand that, being a child. But if someone's interfering with you,
the thing is, if they're
you can be
teenagers,
soft, passive, whatever the case may be. That doesn't give a man a right to interfere with you. No right. At no point am I saying this gives you a right. At no point am I saying that. But I think so. How can you be blamed?
Right, but can I? Go on. You say what you're going to say about a parent.
I think the parents need to take some responsibility there for not noticing signs in the child time and time again. Even if it happens one time, like your parents should be involved enough. Your child should have enough knowledge to come to you and know that isn't right. I know in some instances it's almost their soul a dream, so they think, oh, you're going to make it big if you do this or do that. But the parents need to take some responsibility of noticing that. Because if I, as a parent, if it happened to my child and I didn't notice it, I would take responsibility for that.
You would feel guilty, and rightfully so.
All right, listen, let me take it to the stream on this one, because a couple of comments coming in. Right, we've got Donna Marie. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Guys, you know how it goes. Obviously, when we're live, please share out the video. Let's get other people involved. Today, we're talking about something quite serious, so it's not too light-hearted. But, yeah, stick with us. Right, Donna Maria said, personally, I think it's rife in British society. It seems to me, anyway, that wherever adults have unsupervised and complete access to children, it's a worry stroke risk, in my opinion. Yeah, Donna Marie, I'm with you on that one.
Great comment, great comment.
Shem has actually said, Nick, I think you're way off on this one. All right, which is fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Carlene has actually said, it's happening all over the place. I'm very sorry. My daughter is 9 and she knows right from wrong. And if someone is doing, she's coming home and she's telling it. Right, I think that's a very good point to touch on as well. And I'll let Marlon take this one first, actually. But basically, would you hold...
Go on.
Would you kind of would you be looking at your child if it was happening and they didn't report it to them because they were scared or something on those lines? What do you reckon, Mark?
Yeah, like what Nick was saying before about the child looking at themselves. At certain ages, the child can't look at themselves. They're not aware of what's going on. And like you were saying about soul a dream, they're worried about, this could be my football chance. I don't want to say anything wrong. I might lose my one shot. But on the whole thing about the child coming to you, yes, I try my best to promote and encourage my son to communicate, and I believe if something like this did happen, he would come to me and he would tell me, there's an issue or he thinks something is wrong. But not all kids are doing that, and like we said, they're worried about the impact it could have by telling someone. And like, if they might not even realise, like, there's no point saying, yeah, they should tell someone if they don't actually realise that it's an issue.
I think first and foremost, I think it's good that we've had 3 females that have commented, because obviously you might have seen football in the headlines and switched off, but this is very important for parents as a whole, and it really, football is irrelevant. I think as a parent, you have to ensure that you are mentally and psychologically in tune with your child. A child isn't going to be aware of, a young innocent child isn't going to be aware of certain things, of people coming and fiddling and interfering and so forth. They're not going to be aware of that. So it is going to be hard for them to come and talk to you, as well as it being, if it's your child's dream to be a footballer and they want to make it bad, and they were doing everything they can to be a footballer, they may not necessarily want to come and speak to you about it because they may feel that it might jeopardise the chance of being a footballer. But I think as a parent, my sole responsibility is to look after my child. So I've got to know everything about that child. I've got to make it my responsibility to know how that child is feeling on a day, if they're comfortable in their environment whilst playing football for this particular club. Because remember, they're there unsupervised. So I can't just look at it and trust that the people that are supervising these children, I've got to liaise with my child and make sure that they're happy there, and look and see if there are any indicators as to whether they are not happy.
I agree with most of what you're saying, Dee, but what I didn't agree with is you're saying that children at a young age are not aware of like being troubled and stuff. For me, I speak to my kids about that from very early on. Like with Cassie from 2, probably 1. I said no one's supposed to see your private areas, no one's to trouble down there, and if they do, you have to speak to me about that. Like we was at my house one day and my friend was there. Cassie was in the shower. He came down from the shower and he was all covered up, and she was pissing herself laughing because he made sure he was covered up. Like your child should be aware that that is their private area and no one is to interfere with that. And I think as parents, you need to make sure that your child understands that.
True stories. That's it, man. Paedophiles are ripe these days. They're around the corner. They're sitting there outside of schools. They're freaking pretending to be Santa Claus. They're all of this bullshit. You need to make sure that your child is prepared to know that don't be letting anyone get within your personal space. You have a personal space for you. You have a personal space for your family. You don't be letting anybody get involved in that. And that's where the problem lies, if you ask me.
So
Nick, what do you reckon?
I think just in terms of what G was just saying about paedophiles being rife, 90% of the child abuse that happens is from family members and people and people that know your child, people that are part of friends and family.
People that trust.
Yeah, and people, so football coaches, as G said, like pastors, like they're acting like they're praying for your kid, but really they're praying on your kid.
You were saving that one, innit? You were saving that one.
There's always a line.
No, it's like that. But like the point is, it's as much as it is. You need to be aware of the stranger danger. Like you need to be just as aware of the people in your circle, people that are around your child, and trust everyone that is.
Yeah, that,
in contact
that dodgy uncle, that thing Kevin Hart's always talking about.
Listen, we take it to the stream. Right, William J. Silver said, with boys as well, there is a level of shame they may feel for coming out. So again, I think it goes into a little bit on what Dwayne touched on to, is teaching our children to be comfortable first and foremost, to come to you with anything. And that's one of the questions that I want to kind of pose to the table. What would your first reaction be if your child did come to you and said, literally, I think, the coach is handling me inappropriately.
My strap.
Or he gave me such as Matt Letitia, and this is without jest, he gave me a massage, but he demanded that I was naked. Who wants to kind of take this one?
I would like to think that I would handle it appropriately and investigate, but I'm likely to lose it very, very quickly on hearing that, and I don't think it would end very well.
Listen, at no point in any... tell me how my child being naked is going to enhance him in his football career. Being naked in your presence, how is that going to enhance his football career? There is no way, no how on God's green earth that I find out that's happening, and I can't be responsible for that.
That's what I'm saying. I would like to think I would be able to manage it, but I think I would lose it.
I can't be, because that's nothing to do with anything. That's down to you being a dirty bastard. Simple.
Hey, listen, I'm sorry. You caught me off guard there because I wasn't expecting you to kind of swear when you was making that
I'm
sentence.
just being real.
Yeah, listen, Becky Grace has said, I agree with Marlon, obviously the point Marlon was making before. And I think William J. Silver said that he agrees when Dwayne was making this point. Carlene has said, we talk about it and then next step is prison for me and killing a man for it's that simple, basically.
Yeah, it's simple.
And you know what, it would be a struggle for me personally to hear one of my kids come back and hear that a next man has handled them inappropriately.
And you're going to feel responsible for it because you put your child into that environment.
Knowing all these stories, are you less likely to make your child go and play football?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't allow it to. No, because it's not just in football; it's all walks of life. So there will be no point in me stopping them from playing football or stopping her from going to gymnastics because somewhere in her life, it is a danger somewhere. So I have to educate her well enough to understand that if it happens, you report back to me.
It's like G said. Paedophiles are rife. They're outside schools. You can't stop your child from going to school. Do you know what I mean?
Even teachers, for God's sake. You've seen the teachers.
Yeah, so
20% of the pornographic images online of children. It's disgusting.
That's crazy.
As well, man.
But again, to kind of put this whole thing into perspective, we're talking about children and being able to speak to someone. The NSPCC had set up a line 3 weeks ago, and so far it's actually received 1,700 calls in 3 weeks. That is absolutely crazy.
And it's not just football, it's
you know, you can imagine the people who are not calling, let alone the people who are.
There was in the paper the other day. You had the one from South London, from was it Bellingham, that got arrested and he's been charged with it. He's been fiddling with kids for years. He actually played for Flamingos.
Do you know what?
That we actually played for, so we played for him. Like,
You not played under a guy that...
he played under, and he used to like help coach Wimpy. He used to help him.
I wasn't there at that time.
He used to help him go and go and stuff like that. But yeah, he's been found out.
I just think that the 80s, 90s era was a really disgusting era. Like, in entertainment, in sports,
Jimmy Saviles and all that.
But I think it's still happening now. It's just not out.
The CRB checks the same. How long have they been going?
That's news.
All of that shit irrelevant. All that happens, it's been going on for generations. All the older white people from the monarchs and all of that stuff, they used to get all these little kids in there, do all these mass orgies with all these little kids. It's been going on for years. They just try and hide it. When you're classed as an esteemed celebrity like the Jimmy Saviles of the world, then you'll get that special treatment where they'll take you to that little house with all of the little naked kids and shit like that.
So what can we do to stop it though? Because it's now been demonstrated that it's a long ongoing problem. But what can be done to stop it?
Make sure your children are not susceptible to it. You can't stop other people thinking what they're thinking. They're going to be dirty motherfuckers out there all the time. You need to make sure that your child is on his P's and Q's at all times. Simple.
Yeah, it's education. It's educating your child, making them aware of key indicators. They're not going to be able to physically stop a guy if that is the case. If a guy really wants to go there, but it's not like but your child needs to know. All right, you know what? That is not okay. Yeah, being naked is not cool. The only time being naked is cool is when you're in your house, and that's it. Even amongst family members, extended family members, nah. When you're in your house, being naked is okay. Outside, no. Nobody else.
This is the thing, and just before you carry on, Dwayne, is, you know, and Aaron's just made a good point. I think we must not forget that, and I think Nick made it earlier, that the majority of children know their abusers personally, i.e. friends, family, etc. So, the question that I'm posing to you is, yes, you set those rules onto your children. Dwayne spoke about it, covering yourself, etc. Yeah. But how do you deal with it? Where do you draw the line? So if uncle or auntie says, get naked, go in the bath, you've gone out, and he says no, my daddy said no.
That's what I said with regards to an education. So it's not only about just covering yourself. Yeah. So okay, auntie says get in the bath. That you know that getting in the bath is okay. I've already told you that if someone playing with your willy or some shit ain't cool. Yeah. So therefore you would say, oh dad, auntie played with mom, and then we've got a problem. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I can now address that. But if the child is actively allowing for that to happen, then everyone can start doing it and it wouldn't be a problem. It's like a normal thing to that child then. And then you don't know when the problem is going to occur.
It's knowing the boundaries, man.
I think as well, limiting your child's access to like social media, internet and things like that, because apparently like 1 in 5 children are contacted on the internet. Yeah. Like, so I think it's at these young ages, well, I've got a son who's 8. At these ages, it's about monitoring and managing his access to the internet, any social media.
What should he be doing? At 8, you shouldn't really have any form of social media.
No.
How can he be contacted?
He hasn't got social media, but you don't know that if you don't monitor what these kids are doing.
Yeah, and I agree, then, because even with one of the kids that I look after, he's got some game called Roblox, and he was telling me, can he get involved? And he'll be able to communicate. And I was like, no.
I've heard about this Roblox game as well. Yeah.
But he said to me, oh, but everyone's, what do you say? People are all checked or something. Yeah. I said, I don't care how many people are checked. At the end of the day, it's giving people access to you, and I don't know these people. Yeah. So the answer to the question is no.
Yeah. Listen, you'll be surprised. There are a lot of kids out there who have mobile phones, and parents are not vigilant enough and don't take the time to look at and monitor what exactly they're accessing on their phones, on the internet. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of children out there who have social networks.
I told him no with the Roblox, and about a month later, I just took the tab. I was just randomly checking it, and Roblox is on there. Yeah, so I've called him in the room. Bear stuttering. So I just pulled it. Now you just don't have no tab. Yeah. Like, you don't want to hear me. You have no tab because I can't protect you if you ain't gonna listen to me.
Yeah. But not every parent is as vigilant as you, and not every parent is prepared to discipline their child in a way that's going to be beneficial for them. Do you know what I mean? A lot of parents will see that as, you know what, I need to allow him to have social network because it's the day and age we live in, it's the society we live in. And
it's a peace and quiet for them as well.
Exactly.
Like, some parents are just happy to have
easy for them.
They want to cook or watch curry.
Exactly.
Great. So what are you saying?
Depends what age, in regards to that, it depends what age we're talking. Like, At 8, my son don't really need no access to no social media. He can play a couple games on a tablet, but that's it. He don't. I see a lot of kids at like 10 and 12. Like I see them on Facebook. I personally don't think they should have it, but you know, each to their own. My son ain't jumping on the social media thing. But back to the thing of like what people can do more. My thing is like when you send your child to football or gymnastics or whatever it is, like I'm not saying that you can meet a coach or whatever and instantly know that there's something wrong, but I think you should try to at least know, like to a good extent, who the people that you are leaving with your children.
People are comedians.
I hear that, but at least you can be. You have to try. You can't just send your son to football and then bounce and then you ain't ever spoke to this guy. You don't know nothing about him. I think you should at least put some effort into knowing who's your kid for
I think also letting them know you, innit? Because
that's key.
Where you may try it on someone else, like if you know me, like you know
the consequences of me.
I agree with that.
That's a key point for me. Let them know who you are, because more time when people know what you're capable of doing, or they might not even be sure of what you, but they've got an inkling. They're not likely to take liberties because they don't want you to go down that road.
But what do you mean by capable of doing?
I will fuck you up.
No, but once I understand what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying to a certain extent, paedophilia is
a disease.
It's a psychological condition. So you can look like the scariest fucker on road. Once he sees that little boy, that's all he's focused on.
You say that, but so is, say, a mental health problem. But patients know what stuff to try on,
of course they do,
and who not to. Like so, there's
and they're conscious. They've got a conscious about it.
They have a capacity to understand or to take in that information.
I'm not like. Of course, I'm gonna impose myself on that person from the get go, so that they know don't fuck about my child, innit? However, I'm not gonna sit there and think that's gonna be enough. No way. Yeah. So every single day you come home, my child comes home from football. I want to know what you've done. What drills were you doing? What did you do when you was in the changing room? When you got into the changing room, is that a normal question? Like, obviously, I've got a child who's in football, and to me, he's now obviously 13 years old. It would be the weirdest thing in the world to say, well, what happened today? Did you score? What happened in the changing room? I don't care about weird. I'll be weird. I don't mind. I don't care. As long as it keeps my child safe. I don't care.
Every week you ask him what happened.
I'm just saying, but we got to be realistic. I personally don't think anyone's going to come out and ask. To me, that is realistic.
That's not a normal question, though.
I don't care whether it's normal or not.
What did you do in the toilet?
Was there tissue? Alright, let me just take it to the stream very, very quickly. We've got Shireen saying, an open and honest line of communication between child and parent is completely needed in order for this to come to an end within this society. Aaron has actually said children aren't mature or advanced enough to know to use the internet, no matter how fresh they think they are. William J. Silver has actually said social media when you're paying your own bills. Right, this one I want to kind of try and read out as quickly and as smoothly as possible. Shema said there are many reasons why victims don't come forward. Consider those victims are children, and this creates a whole other level of barriers to them communicating. Awareness, worry, shame, self-blame, insecurities in themselves, fear of disappointment, victim blaming. I think these are all things that we touched on earlier as well. These children are not always mature or aware enough to know when they are being taken advantage of. All children are not the same, and those who prey on children are skilled at knowing who to prey on and how to keep them quiet. They create a problem and present themselves as the answer at a cost, especially for young men when the abuse is coming from a man. Parents need trusting and transparent relationships with their children. If your children can't talk to you, I'd be worried. Right, Shem, let me just touch on that. First of all, I just want to clap you. I want to clap you.
I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking we should actually have a little gift for like people with the greatest response.
So what, best comment of the day or something?
That's a contender, right?
No, that's definitely a contender. Shem, literally, I had to take a day off to read it. But in terms of content, no, we really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Definitely.
Well constructed.
All right. Last one as well before I let Nick take on this one.
Okay.
You can't alienate your child from social media, but personally, you should have a complete access to their account, and it shouldn't be put on their personal tablets or mobile devices. Nick.
I was just going to say, in terms of women or girl children, there's like girl children are 1 in 4, so we've been focusing on guys because it's or boy children. Boy children are, there's a 1 in 6
Girl children.
chance of them being molested.
1 in 6.
1 in 6, and for females it's 1 in 4 for girl children. And
I'm a bit disturbed by that.
yeah, and a woman or a girl child that's been abused as a child is 28 times more likely to become a prostitute.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm disturbed by 1 in 6 there, because that's a lot.
Yeah. But that could be by the internet.
There's 6 of us around the table, that's a lot.
Just about.
Well, it's 5, but you know what I mean.
So
That's a lot.
Can I end it?
Thanks.
Okay, so I've actually got a story. I've actually got a scenario for you guys. I'm actually curious to know what you lot thought. I've got a story. Now, this happened to one of my friends. And I know.
Oh, them ones there, yeah.
You know what?
It's my friend.
I don't even want to tell this story. Nah, if you don't think that, I want to tell you this. Now, I pray that my brethren isn't watching the show. I'm not going to mention no names or whatever. But my brethren moved in from out of London, yeah. Now, he was like, he was our age, right? Moved in from out of London. But he moved in with his woman. Basically, his woman left him, and he.
You can't be smiling.
No. I've got to hear the story. I've got to tell the story. With more every detail you put in, like it narrows it down more and more to me. So basically, look. So yeah, okay. So yeah. And cut a long story short, he came to London. He never had nowhere to stay. He was a bit down because his girlfriend cheated on him and whatnot. So he was really upset. But then what it was his dad, who lived in somewhere north somewhere or whatnot, he was like, oh, my friend's coming down, why don't you go football with him or whatever? And he was an older guy or whatnot. And he was like, yeah, cool. So they went out for football or whatnot. Anyway, to cut a long story short, they went to a bar afterwards, and his dad's friend tried to touch him up in the cubicle thing. And his dad's friend was a police. See, I shouldn't. Anyway, so it was someone in the police force, allegedly. And he had a family, allegedly, right? And he tried to. So he then tells me the story, and I'm like, right. He then was like, should he talk to his dad about it? And it's just like, that's my question. It's like,
how old is this person?
Is our age? Let's just say he's your age, right? And
don't expose that age. It's just over 30.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
How old was he when this?
Okay, this was about 28, so about 2-3 years ago, I think it was. That's what I'm saying. This is my point. This is what I'm saying. What do you do? Do you go and talk to your grown-ass dad now and tell him, oh, you know what, one of your old friends kind of...
No.
Yes.
No, but then that you put that guy in his place. You're a grown man. No. I'm not saying don't speak to your dad. Of course, speak to your dad.
That's my point. Would you? Do you?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay,
but you're a grown-ass man, and you can make him know. You could let him know in no uncertain terms.
Yeah, he did. That's what he did. He put your knee raised to the madness. But anyway,
but I think that highlights the dilemma for children, because if a grown man is still having a dilemma of whether to tell their parents,
that's my point.
How must the child feel?
I'm punching man up.
This is what I'm saying. When he told me,
yeah, but he's a police officer. Let's just say he's physically imposing to you, and you can't punch him up. Then what are you gonna do?
But I'm punching him up.
But it's different though, because this is not abuse. He's a grown man,
and this is not a laughing matter as well. By the way,
this is another guy approaching another guy.
This is my point. It's still abuse, though. He's an older man, and he thought he was secure. Like basically, he pulled him into the cubicle. What happened was they went into a bar or whatever, and then he's like, oh, you know, because he's older, he was like, oh, can you follow me to the... And he thought it was a bit weird. He thought because he's older, he might need his help to hold something or whatever.
Hold what?
I don't know. I'm trying to work off of his train of thought. When he was telling me this, but then he just said,
"You're giving him too much."
You know, he's from up north. Like he's a bit more like not in a rude way. Not in a rude way. You know what it is? But obviously, he just didn't. No. Okay. Well, look. Bottom line is, I just wanted to know what you lot would think, because when he told me, I didn't know. No, punch man up. I didn't know what to tell his dad. This was the question.
I'm telling the dad too.
I'm just going to give him a stiff backhand.
I'm basing him up down.
My first problem with this one. 1 second, guys, is that he's 28 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
So my guess is that things that he's going to be exposed to a lot of different things. If you can't handle that situation and you're questioning whether to go to your dad and he's obviously come and spoken to you, what advice did you give him?
I told him, I said, you've got to tell your dad, but mainly because I wanted to know what the outcome was. I wanted to know what your dad was. But it's like, I didn't know what to say to him because it's just like, it's a weird one. It's like, I would want to punch him up, and then how do you tell your dad, his lifelong friend?
I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
It's an awkward conversation.
Can I just ask, did he physically, like...
Yeah, that's what people are asking. From what I actually said, what did he do to you?
From what I actually...
No, that's better. She just said, what did you do?
Try to trick me. Definitely not me. Anyway, no, he said he pushed him off, and basically he got... the reason it was because I had a missed call from my phone that night before.
Is that how you got the scratch on your face?
No. This was wifey. Shout out wifey. Anyway, but yeah, I was just curious. You lot's train of thought on that because, to be honest with you, it was a tricky. Like it put me in a funny place when he asked me that, and that's why I thought I don't. You know what? Like you don't want to swear in front of
me. I don't think I'm going to tell anybody about that first. I'm going to beat him up. That's the first thing I'm doing is basing him up.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. It's not always as
it's not always as
touch man.
I'm going to sidetrack though because that's not.
Right, cool.
Yeah, so I just. Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think that's the same because you're a grown man for one. You can handle yourself in it.
You can handle yourself.
No, not in terms of physically. I'm talking you as a grown man should be able to tell somebody who's making advances to you. It's not that time.
We're not all like that though. Some men
if you didn't expect
some women can't push advances away. They come. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
I don't know.
Listen, let me just ask this question mainly for the guys who obviously have played football, which is about 95%, bar one. Have you ever? And again, this is not me trying to put things out there and just be silly about this, but have you ever experienced an awkward moment or ever seen somebody else experience an awkward moment, or someone told you about something in football?
I've been at football but it's normal football culture or in that world, isn't it? Like for me, after football, I've gone when I was semi-pro. I take fines because I'm not getting in the shower. I'm not getting in the shower because I'm not like they used to like be keen on man getting in the shower. For me, you shouldn't be keen on me getting in the shower, and that for me made me feel awkward. So I just took the fine, the £2 fine, and went and showered at home. But they used to go in the shower and be talking about willies and pulling willies. I'm not about that life. But to them, that's normal behaviour.
It's normal banner.
Normal banner. They were strapping around the arse and I'm not.
Here's the thing though, so what, you had to pay £2 if you didn't jump in the shower? Yeah, bro. Are you serious? Yeah. That sounds like some rife paedophilia right there. Your culture is dodgy.
Do you think it is as well, the culture that covers up a lot of actually what's going on?
Because of this is evidence that the culture is covering up things. Because obviously, like we were saying, a well-known footballer has come out and said he had a naked massage. Now, like Dee's saying, it's known for people to be in a shower together and be naked, and it's cool.
They used to have
and people use that. Sorry, Nick. People use that to take things further. Yeah. And obviously knowing that children are not going to say anything.
When I first started out, like they used to have like baths where like just a big bath where
everyone get in.
Yeah, like,
what?
Yeah.
What kind of Greek mythology orgies one and two you on, fam? Nah.
Again, it was just football culture. Now I wasn't like the I get in. I get naked. I get in the shower because for me that's just what footballers do. But as a kid, when I was maybe 15, 16, I didn't. And I'm not sure if it was because I was ashamed of my body or I didn't know how my body should be.
Now you want to show off to them?
Yeah, now. No, but I'm not sure whether it's just the insecurity of me growing up or whether it just didn't seem right. Because my my PE teacher, I went to all boys school, yeah, and my PE teacher used to encourage us to get into the shower. But I don't know if it was just because we was all nasty little boys, and because no one got in the shower them days. Because I would think it's nasty now, or if it was he was a bit funny.
You just never know.
Shout out to the school teacher of what school now? Let me just say a few things in the stream there. Serena has said the abuser is the one who made things awkward in inverted brackets. So the person abused shouldn't be afraid to speak up as they did not create the situation.
Is that the dad and the friend thing?
You know, sorry?
Was that about the dad?
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah. Can I just on that one? Yeah. So if let's say, obviously, we're going to be friends in 20 years' time. Yeah.
Not too sure about that, but yeah.
If one of your friends,
Son, yeah.
if one of your kids came and said, "Oh, like I'm going to say Marlon," yeah. Yeah. If one of your friends says, "Oh, Marlon tried to touch me up in the toilet," and your son's a big man,
Yeah.
are you going to believe your son?
Exactly.
Because you know Marlon.
Listen, as much as I love Marlon as my boy, fuck Marlon.
Are you sure? Like,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I will do. You're not going to ask me no questions.
One second. Like, alright, we're cracking jokes, but I know people who have been in a situation where their families, like parents, haven't believed them when they've come to them and said, "Listen, this is happening." So it's real. It's real. As much as Marlon is my boy, this is my. I'm not just going to take exactly what I'm going to do my investigation. I'm going to quiz him. I'm going to find out exactly how it happened, when it happened. I want details, specifics. Then I'm going to go to Marlon. I'm going to say, "Marlon, this is what I've been told. Is it true?"
Any stuttering though.
Huh?
Any stuttering on Marlon's part.
And this is my thing. So Marlon says, "No, it isn't true."
Bro, listen.
I'm sorry.
By default, I've got to believe my son.
So then, the question of Marlon's irrelevant.
I don't like the way we keep using Marlon now.
Let me take it to the stream. Right, London Lawrence has said, "This is really serious, guys. I understand the need for banter, but these guys prey on individuals using psychology. Someone approaching you is shocking and can obviously sometimes make you think, did you do anything to them to make him think it's okay? You may question yourself. A lot of the times, the abuser is counting on the victim's silence and belief that they caused it. Also, these abusers often don't think they do anything wrong and often brazen and unremorseful, causing the victim to go into their shell." Right, just before I let anyone kind of respond on that, I just want to say, just from all of us here, yes, we are very light-hearted and we have a little bit of banter, but we do recognise the severity about what we're actually talking about. And this is the reason why we've brought this to the table to talk about these issues, because they are serious. So please don't get us twisted. Yes, we are 6 guys here having a laugh and a joke, but we tackle very, very serious issues as well. Does anyone want to make comment onto
Go on.
what London Lawrence said?
I want to wrap it up.
I think just in terms of how we.
Come on.
Oh yeah, just in terms of what she said about the perpetrator being unremorseful. One of the football guys, he's done it 4 times across different continents. He was in America. He'd been in jail for 4 years. He came back here, went back to LA, done it again. So I think there is I don't even want to call it an illness, but
So he's gone
there is
prison for
definitely
it, and then got another job doing the same thing.
4 times. And it's
another job.
unremorseful. But in the 80s, there wasn't all the CRBs, the DBSs, like whatever it's called. Even today, like there was a reporter, this week, where they got a new job as a volunteer, and within 2 hours, the head coach left them with the kids alone by themselves. Like I think that he had 2 or 3 kids, but left them by himself, and that's even with everything that's going on.
I'm guessing he's doing DBS.
No DBS.
We should be working with him.
And this is the point. Like, so it still isn't being done, but a lot of the grassroots clubs, there isn't money, so they have to take any money they can get.
Asked me to come and.
So there's and that's a part of the problem. Where there's no money in football, the lower clubs or like the small clubs are taking all the help that they can get. So if it's free and they don't have to pay for it, they're going to do it. So it's hard to, and even getting a DBS check, you got to pay for that. So it's difficult for the clubs.
It's the culture, man. It's the culture. We all know, apart from G, we all know in regards to football. It's about who you know, especially at grassroots. Like you said, going through your CRB and DBS checks, like that's something that's only come about recently. It's about who you know. Guys, do not trust anybody. Be in tune with your children. make sure you're mentally and psychologically in tune with your children, and just ask as many questions as you can.
And again, that kind of brings me to the point. Obviously, we're going to start wrapping this up as well. That's normally my cue. But Michelle's made a very good point. We're talking about the CRB checks, etc. She said a CRB only flags up what you have been caught for. So if someone has never been caught, they can work in any establishment with children. That's so true. Right. What we're going to do now, as we always do, we're just going to go around and get the final comments from people. I'm going to make Marlon wait till last. Yeah, so let's start off with you. What's your final comments?
My
about
final
this?
comments are, first and foremost, Mother, I love you very, very much for the simple fact that you didn't make me go swimming classes when I was a child. I might have been the only kid that weren't in class, but I was on my own and I was safe. The moral of the story is, don't be letting your kids go run up and swimming in no speedos with no people. Don't be letting them go to football clubs with no people, unless you are 100% sure you know what they're doing, you can make sure that they're okay, and if not, that they can fundamentally they're communicating with you. If there's anything that goes on that's a little bit dodgy, make sure that they feel comfortable enough to tell you. So, Mum, I love you.
Gun fingers at your mum.
Sorry, Mum, no gun fingers. It was the way.
Mr. D.
I would just reiterate everything I've said throughout this viewing this video. Just ensure that you are in tune with your children. Ask lots of questions. I don't think you can ever be 100% certain that the people that they are with and who are super